Guys, welcome to HR with Sanchita. Today the class is for leadership part 2. Like, share and subscribe to my channel, and yes, subscribe to my Telegram page, link to which I've pinned in the comments. Okay, so I post all my videos over my Telegram page, and wherever I conduct classes I post all the details over my Telegram page. Okay, yes, so first is the Fred Fiedler's contingency model. Okay, so here it has three elements: situational variables, leadership styles, and then the relationship between these both. So which means that in a particular situation, which leadership style would be used. Okay, so let's study it further. So here, task directed style, human relation style. So task directed style would be focused on tasks, and human relation style would be the style in which leaders care more about the needs of the people working. Okay, and in task, the leaders care about the task itself. So here in this theory, there was LPC, that is the least preferred co-worker scale. Okay, so why it was used? It was used to know the leadership style of the leader. Okay, then a leader is asked to think of a person whom they least like to work. So you need to remember least like to work. Okay, so they were asked, the leaders were asked that with whom you least like to work or you least prefer to work with that person. That means जिसके साथ काम करना नहीं पसंद है आपको, right? And rate them on different bipolar scales. So rating was done on 16 items: example, friendly, unfriendly, cooperative, uncooperative, pleasant, unpleasant, etc. Right? So here, so see, in this theory, these are the basic elements which you need to understand, or the situational variables, right? So leaders, position power, task structure. So let's learn what is leaders' position power first. So it is the degree of power a leader uses which is derived due to his position in the firm, which empowers him to influence and direct others. See, any one of you can be a leader, right? But a leader should know how to derive his power from that particular position, right? So a leader who has high position power manages to get more followers and influence them, right? So obviously if a leader is able to use his power, then he would be able to influence people, and then the people would follow him or her. So if a leader, for example, if you all guys have a leader and he or she is not using his power or influence, then you would not follow that person, right? And in case he is influencing you, he is using his power, then obviously you would get impressed by that leader and follow that leader, because you would think that even we would be benefited by it, right? So this is leader's position power. Then comes the task structure. It refers to the objectives, processes related to task, and also the relationship with other tasks. So it is basically related to tasks. What are the objectives? Okay, and how different tasks are related to each other. And if tasks are clearly defined, then the performance can be controlled and people can be held accountable. See, in the situations where task is not clearly defined and the followers do not know what are we expected, okay, what is expected out of us and what we should do, then there would be less control. Whereas in a situation where tasks are clearly stated, okay, and this is to be done, these objectives are to be achieved, these targets are to be achieved, okay, and then the people can be held accountable and they can be controlled by the leader. Then comes the leader-member relations. So this refers to the relations between leader and member and the extent to which the members have confidence, respect and trust in their leader. So this is also a very important aspect, okay, of this theory, that what is the relationship that is there between the leader and the members, right? So all these factors make the situation favorable or unfavorable, right? So here, what now I would give you, now these three elements are here which we have studied. So we will see what elements are there in favorable situation and what elements are there in unfavorable situation. So in favorable situation, good leader position power would be there. Well-defined task structure would be there. If there would be well-defined task structure, then the leader would be able to control more effectively. Then good leader-member relations would be there. And what is the case in unfavorable situation? Poor leader position power, unstructured tasks, and poor leader-member relations. Okay. Now, I told you that in the beginning of this theory that depending upon the situation, the leadership style needs to be adapted. So here it is listed in this table. See, the situation is intermediate or midway favorableness. Okay, for the leader, if it is like the favorableness lies somewhere in between, then what should be the leadership style? Relationship oriented. Okay. Then, if the situation is very favorable or very unfavorable, then the leadership style should be production oriented or task directed style, right? We studied these styles now, relationship oriented, which is linked with people, and task, which is just linked with tasks, right? So here the situation was midway, neither too favorable nor too unfavorable. So here what we need to do is we need to form relationship with people. Okay, we need to increase our good terms with our followers. Now here, if the situation is very favorable, then production oriented, because if it would be very favorable, then the leaders would listen to you, right? So then it can be focused more towards the tasks, right? Because relationship is already developed. Now here, if it is very unfavorable, then also the people would not follow you. Then you need to be task oriented in sense of like getting a stick before them, right? Ki danda leke piche lage raho, that you have to do because the situation is very unfavorable, right? So this is the theory. So now comes the Hershey-Blanchard situational model. So according to this model, the leadership style depends upon the maturity of the followers. Okay. So then what is maturity? The ability and willingness of people to be self-directed in terms of behavior. That means that we need not to go after them for each and everything, that do this, do that. So the people who are mature, they are self-directed. That is, they know when what to do. Okay. So here, so see, here the situations are given and here the maturity level are given, and then leadership styles according to the maturity level. And again I'm repeating, we are studying Hershey-Blanchard's situational theory. Okay. Now, low ability and low willingness. So low maturity. So if a person is having low ability to do something, and he's also not willing to do that thing, neither he has the ability nor he is willing to do that thing, so the maturity level would be low. Now high ability and high willingness, so opposite of it, that means high maturity. So if a person is able and willing to do something, so the maturity level would be high, right? Then low ability and high willingness, the ability is low but the person is motivated to do that thing, so it's low to moderate maturity. So why low? Low because the ability is low, but it is lying between low to moderate because the person is willing. Even if that person does not have the ability to do that thing, then also he's trying. So that is why it will range between, the maturity would range between low to moderate maturity. Then if a person has high ability and low willingness, now here the person has the ability to do a particular thing but the willingness is low, so here the maturity would be moderate to high. Because why moderate? Because the ability is high but he's not willing to do that thing, and it would lie between moderate to high because if the person is willing, we can the leader can infuse that motivation in that person, then it would be ranging to high maturity as well. So that is a moderate to high. Here in the above situation it cannot be high because the person does not have the ability, so from low he can go to a moderate level but not to a high. Here the person can go to the high maturity level because he has the ability, just an infusion is required, just a motivation or a spark is required. Okay. So now leadership styles, maturity. So here there are 4 styles which you need to remember: telling, selling, participating, delegating. So telling to the low maturity people. So telling style should be adapted with the low maturity people, those who have low ability and low willingness. So selling style to moderate maturity, willing but lack of ability. Okay, selling. Willing, selling means telling everything, do this, do that. Okay. So and also like just guiding them, right? So here, participating, moderate, having ability but lack willingness. So if we let them participate, right, so they have the ability, right, so we can increase that willingness by participating style. Okay, then delegating, high maturity. Delegating means we are just delegating our work to that person, particular person. So whom we can delegate our work to? The person with high maturity. Okay, so that's it. So now comes the path goal theory of leadership, which has been given by Robert J. House and was initially popularized by Martin G. Evans. So basically what you need to remember in this theory is, first of all, it is concerned with goal, okay, establishment of goals, then providing a path by the leader to the goals. So there would be establishment of goals, and then the leader would be providing the path to achieve those goals. Okay, and yes, so for establishing goals, what you need is, you need to identify the uh, needs and then link them with the rewards. Okay, so what you can do is, for establishing goals, you need to identify the needs, because what I said is that it is a combination of situational leadership and Vroom's expectancy theory of motivation. And in Vroom's expectancy theory of motivation, we have done that class. You can see my video, those who have not seen, right? What was it? Like rewards, the importance of reward, balance, right? So here, what we need to identify, we need to identify the needs of the followers, then what rewards they require. Okay, so the first step is identifying the needs and linking them with rewards, then establishing goals. So if we would link these goals with rewards, then obviously the people would try to achieve them. Then after establishing goals, we need to assist and provide path. That is why it is path goal leadership, right? Assisting and providing path towards the goals to the employees. Then satisfaction results in good performance and achievement of goals. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Now, the leader adopts leadership style according to two situational variables, personal characteristics and work environment. And these are the leadership styles that are adopted in this theory. That is directive, supportive, participative, achievement oriented. Okay, so directive means that you need to direct for each and everything, right? Then supporting the followers. Then participating means seeking participation out of the followers. Then achievement oriented, like the people followers need to achieve something, right? So that's it, and tomorrow I would be coming with the part 3 of leadership theories. Okay, bye.